Ba, ba, da, ba, 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 ba. Back together on a Monday morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Nick. Lovely to see you. And I missed you on Wednesday, but you look a little bit different today. We've got some changes going on.
Changing. A bit of a freshen up, bit of a swap round, bit of a change. But yes, I did miss you all so very much on Wednesday. And it's good to be back. It's good to be back here.
It's good to have you back. It really is.
Down incoming transmission from the big giant head. Go ahead. Be part of our community at SPTV. I love it.
That's lovely. We like that. We like that. Yes. Very nice.
I'm all for a nifty swifty subheading. I think they are important.
Oh, they've started, Nick. They've started.
It has begun. Well, do come along and be a part of our community at SPTV and have fun at my new haircut. It's absolutely fine. I don't.
It looks like you've got a twin.
Yeah, I like that, Kelly Rocket. I've lost my winter coat. Yeah, I really have. There you go. Yeah, bring it all on. Come on, bring it all on. Bring it all on. I'm capable of taking it. You know, I can take it. I can take it.
Oh look, Linda. Hello, Linda. Morning, Baldy.
Hi, Mum. So, are we doing free readings? We certainly are. Throughout the show, later on in the show, in particular, at the end of the show, we do a huge chunk of them, but we also do readings throughout the show. This is, of course, your show. This is the SPTV Start Your Day. This is where we build a community. This is where we come together and answer your thoughts and questions on a given topic, which Karen has appropriately suggested would be changes.
Yes.
As it's the full moon tonight, I'm kind of reflecting it quite literally and figuratively today. But yes, Karen, what have you been up to? How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I had a lovely weekend. I went to visit family and friends down in Kent and Sussex at the weekend. So yes, it was great to catch up. I surprised a couple of people because it was very spontaneous. I didn't know I was going to go until the last minute. So it was quickly chuck some stuff in a bag, and I went back because Mike's been clearing out the workshop that we've got. He had to give it back to the landlord, so he was clearing the workshop in the week. I went back down with him and caught up with some friends and had a fantastic weekend. It was really worth, going and seeing everybody. And my friends Carol and Clive hosted us, and we had a girls' night on the Friday and a games night on the Saturday, and it was absolutely brilliant. Both nights were fantastic. So
fantastic.
I'm all raring to go for the week now.
Absolutely. And someone else who's raring to go is Where To Today, who is so excited, first time on here. Welcome.
Yes,
of course, in my absence on Wednesday, we were suddenly able. We are Adventures with Mavis. Hello, Mavis.
Hello. Oh, hello, Mavis.
Lovely. Changed the name. Well done. Yeah, we're on TikTok now.
Yes, we are. It all happened. And I couldn't believe it, because talk about a quick change. On Monday, I'm talking about marching forward onto TikTok. On Wednesday, we're on it. So yeah. It was as quick as that. So Richard's been busy doing lives every day, and the shows have been going out, and we were sort of going out live on Wednesday, and that was lovely. Thank you, Linda. My friend makes these necklaces. My friend Dawn, she's a very creative lady.
Excellent. And Serendipity 589 can only stay with us for an hour.
Oh,
but that's because Serendipity is going to a retreat. Love it.
Oh, how exciting! Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. And Marianne, good morning to you. Lovely to see you.
Yes.
Yes. So let us know, any changes that you've had recently, where people have done a double take or they've gone, wow. Oh, thank you, Wendy. We're shining. You're shining, Nick.
Literally, that's why I've moved my lighting around a bit, just so there's not too much reflection. There's nothing worse than a Richard sitting there saying that there's a bit of a light glimmering of you. Have you not got some powder or something you can do to take the shine off? So I thought I'd move. I used to have a really long blonde wig, Richard. It was for my Thor costume, nothing else. Um, Actually, no,
Oh,
that's not true.
lovely.
I tell you what, I will download the photo. I will download the photo and send it to Richard so he can put it on the show on next Wednesday. Did I not
Oh,
say?
dear.
Um,
Yes,
did I not
Eunice
say?
is speechless. Yes, he did warn us, Eunice. That's the first. Good morning, Karen. We'll have words when I see you, Nick. Oh dear.
In trouble now.
Oh, oh.
Um, yeah, I'll for next Wednesday. Oh no, for next Monday. That comes first. Oh no, are we? Are we? Well, you see, the irony of changes, of course, is that this week is Easter week
Ah, yes, of
because we
course.
are leading up to Maundy Thursday, Good Friday. So next Wednesday, yes. So we're not on this Wednesday, we're on next Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I will send Richard the photo of the last time I wore the blonde wig.
Oh, oh dear. I can't
Uh,
wait.
that really is changing. But yeah, it is Easter, which for me change is obviously a huge, the transformation is a big thing. But for me, it's actually trust, and it always has been, always will be.
Mm.
Um, See, it's a very, very mixed bag of response to the new buzz cut.
It is.
Uh,
It is. Yes.
the,
You've got to. I'm not going to say that.
my hair has shrunk in the wash. Thank you,
Oh, I
Tony.
like that one, Tony. Yes. Good morning,
Yeah,
Tony.
it's funny, really. I like my hair being long, but I can't stand the feeling of it. It gets annoying, frustrating, distracting even. So every so often I just get really, really grumpy with it. And I think, oh, I'm gonna have a bit of a trim, or I'll have a bit of a tweak. And in the end, it all just comes off. And it's stuck, but it changes color every time
Mm.
because my
Oh,
hair was see the conversation, you know here's to
I
the
know.
next 2 hours of everyone having a chat about my new haircut.
Well,
Thank
Neil
you,
Neil
Gary.
thinks it suits you, so there you go. Morning, Neil. So it when I saw you, it just took me back to my son when he was about 9. Morning, Kerry. Lovely to see you on. Nice to see you. It took me back to when I was about 9, when William was about 9, and I took him to the barbers, and they said, "Oh, do you want a number two?" Well, he used to have a number two sort of um I think he had number two slightly at the sides and four on top or something. And so I went, oh yeah, number two, but I didn't realise that what the barber was saying, and he did a number two. And William's sitting there looking absolutely horrified because all his hair's gone. And it was my fault. So because I didn't
Bless you.
understand all the levels of the
Yeah.
cutting. Yes.
Why I actually started out with a number two, but then I just took it off and just went. um so we've had suggestions from the lovely Tim Abbott that it reminds him of his favorite band from the 80s and 90s, Haircut 100. Remember listening to them.
Huh?
um so once again, it really is quite a mixed bag of, but we're airing more onto the positive. We are airing more onto the positive, I
We
think.
are Rebecca. Hello, Rebecca. She thinks it suits you. So there you go. There you go.
I've got to say to everyone at home, I did this on Friday, and so there's not been very many people who've seen it. Mum saw it when I picked her up yesterday. Thank you, Rebecca. Nick does look younger. Thank you, darling.
Oh,
I don't look a day over 50 now. Um, But I picked Mum up yesterday, and that was the first time she'd seen it. Oh, bless Tony, still got no voice.
Oh,
Yes,
bless his
please send healing
heart.
to Reverend Tony.
We will.
Um, bless his heart. He's the Friday week. It was very quiet, and now it's just gone. So please do send your healing. But yeah, I Mum saw it for the first time yesterday, and then of course I did a service in Snettisham for their Easter week because they don't meet on Easter Sunday. So they got to see it, but I haven't actually seen anybody really since today. And then I've got to tell everyone at home, bless her, Karen came up on the screen and it was like, hello.
Bit of a shock.
And it was just silence. I thought the screen had froze or something. But there you go. But thank you all for the positive comments. And we've got so much to get through today because we
Yeah.
are talking about changes. We've got the lovely Kate May, of course. I'm sure there's going to be a word of three. Oh,
Oh,
Crystal Harold Edmondson. Thank you. I'm new here, but I'm a barber stylist by trade, and it honestly suits you. Thank you, Crystal.
well, you see, we've got the professional's approval there, Nick. So,
There you
yeah,
go.
it's actually growing on me. It's actually growing on me. Yeah.
It is me, but very, very slowly. But
It's
there you go.
like that advert, roses grow on you. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I've got to admit, yeah. Tim says you look fine, Nick, but it does remind me how sad it is sometimes. But people will judge someone on their opinion.
yeah,
Do you know what? It's
very
because I
true.
could ease. Richard made a very interesting point when we were chatting before the show, and he said, um, this is a very stereotypical haircut. You ought to get a fake tattoo and put on your forehead and see what people say. And it's absolutely right because we do, one of the oldest sayings in the book is never judge a book by its cover.
It's cover. Yeah.
And yet, anyone who works in advertising or graphic design, Richard, will know that the whole point of a cover is to judge what's on the inside because that's what we do. Yes, I need to get my slightly
You
deeper
know
glass
what?
on to get
Yvonne Dickinson's, she's absolutely spot on there. It really, she said it's giving me Harry Hill vibes, and that's definitely it. Yes.
see. I was going
Oh
for Tom
gosh,
Hardy, but there you
you're
go.
not, you're not
Oh,
going to get out of
Wendy,
the room. You are
Wendy.
not going to get out of the room.
I have to admit, one of my biggest beefs with this is that when I was in my mid to late 20s, I was 21 stone and I had this and I literally looked like a couple of billiard balls. It was not a good look on me, but I'm slightly slimmer in the face since then, so I really quite enjoy it. And I haven't got to worry about brushing my hair before I come on.
Uh,
Albert Einstein's been doing the rounds a lot lately. In particular, his comment to his teacher about light and darkness. There's a post doing the rounds on social media. Interestingly enough, I virtually word for worded that in 2015 with a trance message from Spirit. Or I should say, they virtually word for worded
yeah.
that before I'd seen it. But there is this rumor that he used to have all of the same clothes and everything was all lined out so that he didn't have to make a decision. Now, whether that's an urban legend or true or not, this simplifying to reduce unnecessary thinking time.
Mm.
I haven't got to worry about finding my brush, let alone brushing my hair. Just stick it under the shower head, give it a quick rub, and it's done. It's like the genie of the spirit. My head's like the lamp. You see, rub it 3 times, you get 3 wishes. Oh, I've been told to keep still. Oh, you what's it? You- it- see, yes.
Yeah.
See,
Oh, that's brilliant.
if I'd have known, I'd have done the pose. But yes, there we are. At least you know what. You know what, Tim, you're right. It does show that we do judge a book by its cover. But at least today it's brought some joy and laughter to the room. And let's face it, with comments like Wendy's, certainly brought some
Yes.
joy to my mind. I look in my 30s. I'll be 46 this year, so I'm more than happy with that.
You're still a baby. You're still a
I
baby. So there
know,
you
I
go.
know,
You're
I
still a baby. But do you know what? Going on from Tim's comment, I've got a really interesting story because years ago, and I shared this story with some of my students. I had a lovely friend called Rob, who's now in the spirit world. And when I first met him, we were on holiday. We were on holiday going to Turkey. And and I never classed myself as a judgmental person, but obviously this particular holiday, I wanted to have a little bit of a rest and relaxation. And this guy and his girlfriend get on the bus when you're going to the hotel and they drop you off at all the hotels. And he was loud and he was like, he was so loud and he was sort of, jumped on and he looked like, he was up for a good night out on a Saturday night. And I thought, oh God, I hope he doesn't stay at our hotel. I literally had that thought, and I could kick myself now for it
yeah,
because he was at our hotel. And cut a long story short, we got to know him, and he was the most sincere, kindest, gentlest man I'd ever come across. And he became a very, very dear friend. But you judge a book by its cover, like, sort of bald tattoos, very loud. Like he got on the bus with a beer, and I'm thinking, oh God, that's not what I need. But we had such a laugh, and I've got to know him over the years, and he helped me through a very, very difficult time in my life. And he's so missed since he went over to Spirit. But
yeah,
and I never, and since then, it really made me pull my socks up and realise you should never make those judgment calls because
yeah,
you don't know what lies underneath and you don't know what people are like. So,
yeah,
and it just sort of brought that back when Richard said that.
yeah.
So I just thought I'd share that because he was a very, very special man, and his wife Tracy is a lovely lady too. So
Absolutely. And you know what? I think on the flip side of it, we can sometimes be a little too hard on ourselves when we do make these
yeah,
in mind snap judgments. It's human nature. We are animalistic in nature. And one of those snap decisions is you judge the situation by what you can see. I mean, let's face it. You've got to find Clara, find a lot of religious spiritualists judge people by their look, yet they preach the opposite. Absolutely. And
absolutely,
it's in
Tara. Yeah,
every walk of life. But the whole point of spirituality and spiritualism is to evolve beyond the animalistic nature. And
mm,
so, sometimes, so long as it stays in there and doesn't express itself outwardly, as with respect it did with you, yes, you might have had that initial thought, but you still gave him the time of day and found that that was an error. And the point is this: the whole journey of spirituality is shedding the animalistic nature. And
yes,
so, it depends on culture. All of these book cover moments are very much based um, on experience, on culture, on politics. But if we were to look in spirituality, why was not the first question, have I suddenly become Buddhist? Why could that not be the option?
yes, yes,
Because of
yes,
culture. This
yes.
is the thing. And I think so long as we keep those negative Nelly thoughts, from evolving, that's a growth away from the animalistic nature. And I think we're sometimes too hard on ourselves because the journey of growth is what matters. The journey of changing is what matters. And so long as we're already always progressing along that, I think some people probably do need to check themselves before they wreck themselves, as the old saying goes. But I think for the most part, so long as you continue to evolve and grow, then that's spiritual improvement and growth, and it should be applauded rather than chastised. You know, if you are a perfect human being, you've got nowhere to go. But if
Yeah,
you are flawed and, you know, slightly skew if like the rest of us, any progress is progress and growth. And that should be applauded rather than chastised, in my view. So as well as being a wonderful example of, you know, never judging a book by its cover, Karen, your story also tells me of spiritual development of self and
yeah,
growth. And so actually,
yeah.
I think you should be a little bit less hard on yourself because you did the spiritual thing,
Mm.
you know. So I think we can be a little bit hard on ourselves and each other. And I think, you know, we must be aware that there is negativity in the world. We must be aware of it and do something about it. Absolutely. But I think sometimes we need to be a little bit easier on ourselves first. But that's
Absolutely,
just, you
absolutely.
know,
Yeah, I like Minty May's comment, and he's actually our lovely Minty May is on tonight at 8 o'clock as well doing
yes,
readings. But I love his comment. He said I've had it with my look. Working in Argos a few months ago, I helped the elder gent, and at the end of my helping him, he said, "For someone who looks intimidating, you're a really nice fella." It was like, thanks, I'll take the compliment. I love
yeah,
that, Minty. Exactly.
absolutely,
Sometimes we do, we do look at somebody and we make a call.
absolutely.
I did tell Rob, I did tell him what later on what I thought, and he laughed. He said, "Well, I proved you wrong, didn't I?" I said, "You absolutely did." And I loved him to bits. He was such a lovely guy. But I don't know if anybody wants to come on to have a
Yes,
chat with us today. If you've got some views, if you've got some stories to share, come on. If you want to, let us know. All you've got to do is say, "Zoom me up, Richard," and Richard will get you on here with us. So that would be lovely if you want to come on as well. So,
he will share that Zoom link with you, and you can come along. Uh, Now, as well as changes, you know, here's a real big change we need: the share level. Come on, my friends, share, share, share. Gonna say we have a minimum limit of 25 shares before we are even allowed to start giving messages these days. So,
okay.
you know, because 25's not a lot. It really isn't, you know. So, I mean, one person, if they're in 25 spiritual groups, could technically hit the target on their own. Four
Yes,
people doing that, it'd instantly be 100 and we'd be close to our all-time weekly record. So, share the love, share the joy.
absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
share the Harry Hill moment, share the laughter, share the upliftment. And as Karen said, if you do want to come in and share a story about changing, you know, it's a very broad church, if you'll pardon the pun. Jasmine is sending love and light from New Zealand. It has been a while, my darling. Lovely to see you again. But
Nice to
remember
see
to
you.
share, to follow, to like, to subscribe, to react, to comment. And, you know, this is your show. So do come along, share your stories about changes, about the positive and negative impacts, about the upliftment that we get, about, you know, growing the self. That's what it's all about. Kirsty Miller says, I want to learn to do readings. I've had many readings saying my spirit guides are guiding me and it's what I should be doing and that I'm a very spiritual person. But when I practice with my angel cards, etc., I doubt myself. What advice would you give, please, to help with the doubt? That's a good one, especially given the subject. You know, um, and with it being Easter week, even one of the most notoriously spiritual figures in written history had a moment of doubt in the Garden of Gethsemane, got over it, and how did he do that? Well, Karen, what are your thoughts?
Well, the thing is, Kirsty, are you sort of learning on your own, or are you sitting in a circle? Have you got support? Because I think support and help from a good teacher is always a good thing to do. So, and then you know if you're doing it right, or the teacher can sort of see what's there, and bring that gift out. So I would suggest that you get yourself a good teacher, get yourself into a good circle, and then you could maybe broaden your horizons and not just with the angel cards, maybe use different tools as well. And then also learn about meditation, about sitting and connecting with self and building that power, that spirit, building that energy within you, and see if you can work the spirit world. So you've obviously, I know lots of people say from the platform, "Oh, you should be doing this work." You know, I had it said to me many times before, and you think, "Well, where do I start? What do I do?" So I think, put the word out, Kirsty, and I mean, I know there's depends where you are, whereabouts you are in the country. We have the spiritual directory on SPTV. So have a look to see which mediums are around. And if you let us know where you are, we'll see if we can recommend anyone. If you're near to either of us, Nick and I may help, or we could put you in the in the direction of a good teacher. So that's what I would say.
I totally agree. And I'd actually add to that. Tools are useful and tools are good. But when it comes to connecting with guides and building that trust with spirit, sometimes they can be a little bit of a distraction. For me, I think it's always useful to get a good balance of working without a tool and working with a
Yeah.
tool. What confidence, because it's all about building confidence when it comes to dealing with doubt. And confidence comes through trust, and trust comes through repetition. Kirsty, learning by yourself is not a bad thing. However, as Karen has just pointed out, you do. Oh, Isle of Wight. I've actually got a student who grew up in the Isle of Wight. She lives in France now. So
Yeah.
you are quite close to the core of the SPTV hub, so to speak. It's based down on the south coast. But for me, it's about building trust, and trust has to be earned, and earned by repetition and proof. As someone who's working on your own, the first thing I would suggest is get yourself a notepad or a journal. You can buy them from, Amazon, specially designed with, words of advice and guidance from this one here. Just search on amazon.co.uk for Rev Nick Brown. You'll find some. Or you can just use a notepad and a book, but make a note every time you do some work. Record. Oh, look at, isn't he good? Bless his heart.
He's
Thank
so
you,
good,
Richard.
isn't he? He's
He's
so
on the
good.
money every time. Um, Keep a record of your work, but once every couple of months, just go back and read, because that way you will be able to see how you have progressed yourself. Absolutely, with Karen, get someone else to work with you to compare notes, because one of the hardest things is feeling alone and feeling unsure of yourself because you've got no one to bounce off of, and circles are really, really good for that. But it is about practice, 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 sitting in meditation. There's guided meditations all over the place. I've got some on YouTube. I know Karen's recorded some here, there, and everywhere. You can go to a development group and get them. Neil Payne says there are a few churches in the Isle of Wight, Cowes, Ventor, Ryde.
Yeah.
But it really is about practice, 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 but having a way of identifying your own personal growth. That can come from other people, but also looking back at your own words as well.
I mean, I run beginners groups as well, and Nick runs stuff. So I do a lot of the hosts on SPTV as well. So if you want to, connect with us, please do. I'm, if you're starting from scratch, then get in touch, because I'll be running. I've done course 1 to 3 on the psychic, and I'm just starting mediumship 1 next week. So, and I will be running these. They concurrently going forward. So I will be doing that. I haven't done posters or adverts yet, but I will. And also go to who you feel comfortable with. If
Absolutely.
you if you like a name, you like what they say, then go and sort of get in touch with that person.
Yeah,
But go to the churches, because that's a good place to start. I
really
would
is.
recommend anybody go to their local church, and then you can see what they have to offer with regard to awareness and development classes, so that you can get a good grounding, Kirsty. That's what you need, a good grounding in reading.
Absolutely. And the last piece of advice I give, which I think is absolutely essential, and my wonderful friend and colleague Tony Swindles says it all the time: do not be afraid to ask questions. There is no such thing as a daft question or a silly question. The only silly and daft question is the one that you didn't ask. So just be a sponge for information. Get many people's different views on it. Don't always necessarily just stick to one. There are many different interpretations in this way of life. But as Karen said, find someone who you trust and resonate with, who you feel comfortable with, but be a sponge and do not be afraid to ask questions. The only daft question is the one you didn't ask. So there we go. I hope that Karen and myself have helped. And if there is anybody watching else from the Isle of Wight who goes to a church that you could recommend for Kirsty, please mention it in the comments
Or also reach out, because
or
it's
reach
nice
out.
to
Yeah,
reach out and chat about things. And maybe you could go along to the church together, because it's sometimes nice to go with a friend,
absolutely.
and share your thoughts and what have you. And I always find, Nick, I don't know about you, but there's so much information, as you said, there's so much information out there, and you soak it all up. But the little tip that I learned early on in my development, because we change and evolve all the time. So how I know what's right for me is if it feels right, if I get that feeling and it makes sense to me. When someone says something to you and you think it sits well with you, or it also corresponds with the thoughts that you've had as well yourself. So
Yes,
that's how you know you're sort of on the right path. Yes, this feels right, this sits right, because it's clairsentience for me is not just about working with the spirit world. You've got to use the clairsentience when you're working on yourself and working with your own development as well. I've always trusted my
absolutely.
gut when I've worked with my development. So yeah.
Completely. What she said, definitely. Good morning to Shelley Stewart. Hi, Dale. Um, yeah, it's difficult sometimes because sometimes there can be competing and often conflicting views, but trust your gut, as Karen has just said. Um, there is no one singular right way of working. It's about what is best for you. I mean, perfect example. If I were to pick up a pen, you know, some people use the right hand, some people use the left hand. Some people hold it like that, some people hold it like that. Some people have it right down at the bottom, some people have it all nice and elegant like that. It still writes words down. You know, the shapes and the sizes and the swooshes. I used to get in big trouble for putting loops on my Ys. The style might be slightly different, but it's still communication at the end of the day. So allow your own style to flourish.
Yes.
That for me is one of the massive ones.
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting you say that, because there's a little exercise that I do when people are wondering about their own style or finding their own niche, especially when mediums are ready to go out as fledglings onto the platform, when they're worried about their personality and they're worried about how they come across. So what I do is I play the same song, but sung in two different ways by two different artists. And
Yes.
basically, it's their interpretation of that song. And I've got a few now, and it's funny because I like listening to them, because I can't remember what it's called now, but there's quite a famous song from the show Dreamgirls. It's the one that Jennifer Hudson sings,
Yeah.
and she sings it like, with a real belting voice. And then I've got another version that is sung by Sheridan Smith, and she sings it in a very jazzy, slow way.
Yeah.
Both of, they hit the spot, but in different in different ways. And
Absolutely.
sometimes you find that when you watch different mediums work, and talking, going back to the changes, your mediumship, your work will change all the time as you evolve and grow and add other things to your repertoire, you know. I mean, even since being on here, I've realized that you've got to try to be a little bit more specific and try and get, because you're working blind, you know? And so my work's changed in the last few months of being on here as well. So we change and evolve all the time. It's interesting. So,
Absolutely.
I like
Neil,
Neil's comment. Yeah.
yeah, go for Nick because he's just reminded me of something that I'm just grabbing up on my screen to read. But Neil's comment, take on what resonates with you and disregard what you can't, is absolutely a totally right comment when it comes to spiritual growth, spiritual development. Um, it really, nobody wants to go and see robots. Nobody wants to get messages from robots. If everyone worked the same, then there'd be no point in people developing as mediums because you could have half a dozen doing all the work and there'd never be any need for anybody else. Uh, um, you know, even Jake, even though Jake, the AI reader for SPTV, even though Jake himself is artificial intelligence, he has got his own style and personality
Yeah.
when it
Yeah.
comes to presentation, way of working. And for some people, they're going to absolutely love it. For some people, they might not. Um, but what Neil said about taking what resonates and disregard the rest reminds me of is we're always talking in spiritualism about the seven principles. Um, but there is another set of rules that were the grandparents, so to speak, of the seven principles, and they were the 10 spiritual commandments given by the golden chain recitations of Emma Hardinge Britten. Um, and basically, although the wording is a little bit paraphrased here, one of those rules, the 10th, the first and last duty on earth in this life is to seek the path of right, live by it, and whatever creeds, precepts, or examples conflict with it, reject them, shut them out, and put them away from your thoughts, deeds, and actions, but always remembering the spiritual Lord's creeds and ways of living, that is the brotherhood of man. And so it absolutely resonates with what Neil is saying. Because it's not just about our way of behaving, it's about our way of working too. Take which resonates with you, and anything that doesn't, don't worry about it. And as Karen said, the way we work evolves and changes over time too. The way I used to work was, even now looking back, slightly robotic. I'm a lot more relaxed into it now. But that's taken me 25 years and a lot of airtime on SPTV to just chill the what's it out, and just have a little bit of faith, I suppose, trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, Christian. Nice to see you. In answer to Serendipity's question about is Sheridan on two pints of lager and a packet of crisps, I think she is, and
Yes.
she was also in Benidorm as well, and she's been in lots of series. She's one of my favourite actresses. I love her. She's got a fantastic voice, and she also played. I think she played Funny Girl in the West End as well. So
Yeah.
whatever she's on, I do tend to watch. She's done a lot of true life stories. She did the kidnapping of the little girl in Moss Side too. So
Yeah.
she's done a lot, and the album she brought out, funny enough, just after her dad passed, she lost her dad. She brought this album out, and I think it helped her with the grieving process. So
Yes.
it's sort of like a tribute to her dad. I think the album is. So it's, yeah, it's interesting.
She has got such a huge range to her. She was also a guest star in the Sky program Mile High, where she pretended to be a cabin crew. She was also Smithy's sister in Gavin and Stacey. You know, she's one of these people that you either love or absolutely loathe because they're just so good at everything they do.
I know
Um,
she pops up everywhere. She's
yeah,
on the West End stage. She's in comedy. She does straight acting absolutely fantastically as well, dramas that she's been in. But she's real, and you believe her, when she's on the screen. I
yes.
really like her. Yeah.
And absolutely resonates, there's that word again, with Helen Mansell there. We're all different and all have something very special to give. Sometimes we don't know it, but others feel it completely.
I love that, Helen. That's a really nice quote. I really like that. And it's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
And don't forget, if you want to come on and have a chat, we are, of course, talking about changes, transitions. Ball went really, really rolling with this particular ball, but it has snowballed and grown into development, personal growth.
Yeah.
You know, that is what this way of life is all about growth and change and transition. And what a week to be discussing it in,
I
absolutely.
know. And also, we started off with Nick doing something to his, having a new hair, having a new look, having a new image. And we're now talking about the principles. We're talking about, different sorts of mediumship, changes and growth. And, I love it how we evolve when we start chatting. It's amazing. And talking of growing and evolving, our following on TikTok has gone up to 694, which is hugely down to our wonderful Richard, who keeps going live with his cards. I think he secretly likes it, Nick, and he's doing that again this afternoon. So come and join him and send him some love and share it so that people can follow us, and then we could get up to the 1,000, which we thought was quite a big thing to do, but we're not far off now. So if we can get up to the 1,000, and I secretly think our Richard likes TikTok and doing the cards. I think he likes it. So come and yes, she did, Sarah.
Yes, you did
Sheridan
say.
Smith. She played Scylla, and she was absolutely fantastic at that as well. So this is about versatility. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
No.
okay, okay, okay.
So
So they. Oh, right, right.
she
Okay,
is
okay.
she is going to be performing in another show soon. We're
Yes,
not allowed
yes.
to do specifics.
No, no.
And this is really this is really important when it comes to specifics. We can either take things as being general or we can take things as being open to everyone. But what I absolutely love is when someone is open hearted, open minded, and shares information that will help a lot of people, which is a beautiful segue, really, into the wonderfully wholesome, delightful, and joyful Kate May, who's also a bit of a social media legend when it comes to her tarot scope. So it
Yes.
is time to say those magic words. And what is she going to have to say when we've got the full moon in Libra tonight? Friend of mine's having a bit of a shindig with fire pits and banging drums
Oh,
and
how
everything.
exciting. How
And
exciting.
vegetable stew too. So let's say those magic words, shall we, as we welcome Kate May for her tarot scope this week. What do we say, Karen?
We say Roland Richard.
Good morning, everybody. This is your week ahead tarot readings for each zodiac sign. My name is Kate May, Modern Day Mystic. You can catch me on katemay.co.uk. Okay, let's have a look. Aries, your week ahead is the 25th of March week. We have a big week as far as astrology goes. But let's have a look. Aries, the Empress, abundance, self-nurture. This is a fantastic card for you this week, Aries, as we are in Aries sun season. Now, this card asks that you pamper yourself, treat yourself, do things that you enjoy. And you're actually coming into a fabulous week where there is going to be growth, abundance, love, and where you feel so comfortable with people around you. Good news may happen in a family connection way for you, Aries. Taurus, you're looking further ahead now. You're reaching positive milestones and you're able to see clearly your plans and what you want to commit to. Plan and prepare. There is a lot of action happening this week for you as you take massive steps forward in your journey ahead in reaching your goals. Gemini, the Hangman. It's all about hanging around this week, Gemini. Maybe not so much going on for you. You've got to weigh back and forth with things and perhaps see things from a different perspective. It's time to turn yourself upside down, see things differently. Look at the long term, not the short term. There might be some sacrifices that you have to make this week, Gemini. Cancer, you're feeling comfortable, in control and secure. Good news around your finances. You're in the position this week, Cancer, to be able to manage everyone and everything. You're organised and you can do it all. Leo, feeling a little bit trapped this week, Leo. You might have to think outside the box. Where there's a will, there's a way. Try not to be the victim and let things get on top of you. There is always another answer to it. It's not a no, it's a how can I do it. Virgo, the end of difficult times, Virgo. If you've been going through a bit of a rough patch, you're coming to the end of it. Karmic cycles are influencing you now where doors are closing and you'll need to accept those doors as you embrace new opportunities. Libra, you are moving slowly ahead, especially in love and romantic situations. There is love in the air, but you are also starting to feel that you're more emotionally able to move forward in situations. It is a slow energy this week for you though, Libra, so no rushing around, doing things that you love, doing things that you enjoy, and wearing your heart on your sleeve. If you're single, you never know who might pop up this week, Libra. Scorpio, new beginnings, taking a leap of faith. Travel opportunities could come in around you, Scorpio, but having adventures, kind of just saying, sod it, I'm just going to do it. Taking the opportunities, and you might find that you're doing things quite quick this week. So you could find there's not planning going on this week, Scorpio, but you're just taking the lead and you're just taking advantage of any opportunity that comes. New adventures and new chapters await for you, Scorpio. Sagittarius, happy ever after. Good feeling of commitment, comfortable and security, success with you this week, Sagittarius. You should be feeling like you've got everything that you want around you and it is coming to a point of a conclusion, really, an emotional conclusion where you feel satisfied, feel happy. It is the happy ever after card. Wishes are coming true and feeling a lot more secure within your home and emotional status. Capricorn, new love, new opportunities, great news coming in this week for you, Capricorns. Capricorns are normally hard workers. You don't tend to get that emotional connection coming in. However, this week you're going to start to feel love is in the air. There could be some breakthrough moments emotionally this week for you, Capricorn, as well. Help is on the horizon. And so take that help. You know, you are a workaholic as a rule. So take that help, Capricorn, soften things up a bit. And there is joy and good news coming. Aquarius, you need the strength this week. The strength this week. You've got to be strong and perhaps rein things in. You could open a can of worms. It's no good throwing your toys out the pram this week, Aquarians. So be cool, be calm, deal with people in a tactful way, in a sensitive way. Hold your power. By holding your tongue and dealing with people in a sensitive manner, you are actually going to come out on top. So it's tactful energy that's needed this week, Aquarians. Gentle tact will win the day. Love wins over hate. You've got the strength to get through things. And Pisces, it's a week to rest, Pisces, even with all that new energy that's coming in from Monday. A week to rest. You could be feeling exhausted, Pisces. To put your feet up, change a bit of scenery. If you can't have a complete rest, then just do something a little bit different. Change is as good as a rest. You're going to need your energy over the next couple of weeks, Pisces, so it's important that you reserve some. Try not to feel too sorry for yourself, but also don't worry about the little things there. There is better opportunities coming. Take some time out to recuperate and you'll come back feeling fabulous.
We love you, Kate.
Oh, she's
Thank
amazing.
you so much. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
she's a
to the
lovely
lovely
lady.
Kate May. She is, you're absolutely right. Totally amazing. I always look forward to her joyfully smiling face, you know, descending upon the show. She is the outside broadcast co-host of Start Your Day, isn't she? It really
Absolutely.
is.
She is. She is. And it's lovely. It is lovely.
Definitely.
We just want to also just let everybody know you may have watched the lovely wellness show that's on Friday with Adele and Laura. And Laura, Adele is leaving the SPTV family as a host, but she will come back on the show as a guest. And we just want to thank her for coming forward with her ideas, her wonderful expertise on all the therapies and things that she's done, and obviously she's going off to do what she wants to do in her own right as a therapist, and I know she does a lot of face-to-face work as well. But she will be back as a guest, so she hasn't completely left the SPT family. She's just sort of on a bit of a sabbatical and will be coming back and forth. So we wish you well and thank you for all your work, Adele. But we'd also like to welcome, as a co-host with the lovely Laura Whitfield, starting next week on a Friday at 11 o'clock, is Helen Rogerson. Now, you may remember Helen from the birthday show, and also she was on with me on Wednesday when Nick couldn't come on. And she co-hosts with Neil too. So she's now becoming a co-host in her own right with Laura. So they're going to be working on new concepts for their show, and it's going to be a wellness magazine show. So it'll be like picking up, you know, it'll be all tips and yes, she was amazing, Serendipity, but she will be back, so don't worry. So it will be a wellness show on how to look after yourself and lots of different tips on how to do that. And there will be readings as well. And I'm sure Helen will be doing her amazing drawings.
Oh,
So that's going to be wonderful. So that's our new little bit of gossip for you today.
absolutely. And you know, I'd just like to add by a quick shout out to Helen as a thank you for looking after my on-screen wife, Karen, on Wednesday in my absence. But you know, welcome truly in your own right to the family, Helen. And Adele, you are amazing, and we do look forward to your guest appearances. But you know what? It's absolutely today is, of course, about changes. And Adele's doing what she needs to do for herself, and it's nice to actually see the physician heal thyself being enacted by people in this way of life. Because it's really important to look after oneself and do what you need for you. And so and Ashley Oliver says sounds fab, and of course she's on Thursday night with the rest of the gang. You I know you get quite excited by Ashley's show, don't you, Karen?
I do, because it's living spiritually. And it's lovely to see the girls together. It's a show hosted by Women for Women, and I think that's great. You know, getting that woman's voice out. I think it's brilliant.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, she's on.
Oh,
Hey,
Helen. Hello, Helen. Here she
hello,
is.
Helen. Welcome to the fam. And you're right. You might have been lodging with a few of us, but now you got your own room, love.
Exactly.
Nice little
Exactly.
star on the door. You know, someone to come in and do the makeup for you. All that. Yeah. But it's
Well,
definitely doing more drawings.
I wait for that I wait for that every Monday and every other Wednesday, Nick, but I end up having to do it myself.
Yeah. Wow. Richard's just been explaining that he's seen some of the clips about nature that Helen's going to be doing for the show, and he's in absolute awe. So do tune in for that. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And you know, I absolutely love seeing new and different ways of working. And when it comes to psychic art, Helen really has kind of captured a new way of working that is, it's interesting to watch that
Yeah.
growth and development of the image, because it is like a journey and a story. Reverend Ashley says, just don't let
You're
Nick's
very
stylist
cheeky.
do your hair, Helen. Absolutely right, you know. It might save me a fortune in Brill cream, but it's costing me an absolute arm and a leg in compact, you know, the powder. You know, don't want to look like a bowling ball, do I?
I love
Oh
that.
wait,
I
too
love
late.
that.
But yeah, don't let my stylist do your hair, Helen. She's absolutely right. She's absolutely right. But yeah, Helen's art. Helen says, "In my happy place in nature, and great to share that, and it will be great to look forward to." What I like about Helen's art is that it is a journey. You know, you see things as that image is growing and growing and growing, and it's evolving and changing too, which of course is today's theme. Being
Absolutely.
Easter and me being a bowling ball, you know, it's all about changes. And of course, a reminder, if you want to come on and tell a story about your growth and changes, or you've got a story about, you know, defying the norms to go through your own change, then do feel free to come along. As Karen always says, say "Zoom me up, Richard," and he'll send you or post the tag for how to get on Zoom with us. And we're going to be doing some readings as well. Kelly Rocket says, "Don't forget a hat and sunscreen." I've got some hats. I've got some hats. So
You know what? That's interesting. Kelly says that, because I think when people do go quite short on top, they do forget that now has become a vulnerable place for the sun. So
absolutely
yes,
exposing
yes,
more of yourself to the world. And I will say it's a little bit chillier these days.
yes,
It really is.
yes, yes. Mike's got a selection of hats that he wears because he's getting a little bit thin on top now, bless him. So yes, he's got the flat cap, and he's got his baseball caps, and he's got other hats. So yeah, they do come in handy. So yes. Hello, Amanda. We're very well, and we hope that you are as well.
Absolutely. And in actual fact, this is going to be a little bit out of tune for me. I've got someone coming through. I think they're getting bored of waiting. Um,
Yes.
this gentleman is a little bit impatient, actually, is the honest truth, and he's just, you know, I'm not going to sit and wait for another, you know, X amount of minutes. I'd like to come through now. So obviously the time is right for him to come through now. Everything. One thing I do know about how I work is that everything that's being discussed ties in with what they've got to say. So he's taken this opportunity. This gentleman, as he steps through, I do feel very nauseous with him, which is a condition that I don't very often experience with spirit. I'm grateful for. But this gentleman does feel very nauseous. His eyes were a little bit funny, you know, struggling to see a bit. So I don't know whether it was blurred vision. My head is starting to throb, so I know he would have had, you know, a problem up there. So really not a very comfortable place to be in as far as health is concerned. This gentleman, who was a father and a husband, is what I'm getting from him in regards to relationships. And thank you. Where some people tend to focus on that one relationship that matters to them the most, what he's giving me is that being a father and being a husband were unitedly a draw in his life when it comes to his emotional balance in life. This gentleman, as he steps further forward, is also reminding me of what Helen Rogerson said about loving being in nature. And because whenever I close my eyes with this gentleman, all I can see is a beautiful sunset. I do feel it's more in town or in, a slightly built up area, because I can see rooftops where the sun is either setting or rising. It does feel more like a sunset though. Serendipity 589, you have to dash. We know you did tell us. We love you. See you
Bye,
next time.
Take
But
care.
this gentleman, I'm feeling chest pains with him, and I know there would have been some nosebleeds as well. But this sunset is really, really important, whether it was one of the last things that he saw before he passed, or whether it was something that he always enjoyed to see. There is significance with this father husband figure who, and I do believe he would have been on chemo. The more the symptoms build up, it tends to fit with the nausea and the headaches and the blurry eyes. I know this gentleman. He doesn't feel particularly old. I'd want to say no later than his 50s. I know this chest pain with him isn't just physical, it's emotional. Kerry says, I can understand this. This gentleman who's father and husband, finding that emotion equal is, very, very diplomatic of him. And I know that he was an extremely diplomatic man in terms of his attitude towards dealing with people. He was very useful for being around. He didn't come barging in and say, Nick, shut up and stop waffling. He's got a good sense of humor though, because he just said, yeah, that's not my job, somebody else says that. Nudge nudge, wink wink. But he was a very balanced, very fair gentleman, because he wanted to be, because he felt it was right to be. And he was a really, really strong influence, you would understand, Kerry, with your spirituality. Although his attitudes might not have been connected to spirituality, he was a very spiritual person. His attitude reflected the higher ideals of spirituality. If you can understand that, just let me know. I know there's like a 5 or 6 second delay, but I will be watching. And this there's about a 15-second delay. So by me saying that and Richard saying that, then obviously I've probably covered the 15 seconds now, more or less. But what he wants to talk
Oh, bless.
Kerry, my father woke me up at 6 a.m. to watch a sunrise with him, and that was the last thing he said to me. Oh, bless your heart, darling. I knew it mattered, and I knew it was important, because literally this image of the sun behind the horizon of whatever it was, whether it was hills or houses, it's burnt into his memory, and I'm sure it is to yours too. And it's almost like he's saying it'd make a great painting or a great picture to do the silhouette of the shape and have great light shining behind it. He did believe in this. He certainly reflects those higher spiritual ideals, and he's been very, very, intently listening to this whole process of change and growth that has been spoken about today. Because interesting that his view on it is that that the sunrise is so important. Absolutely, I felt that. And he's reminding us with that. Yes, of course. Thank you. Get it now. Every day is an opportunity to change. As the sun comes up over the horizon, we shine new light on situations, new beginnings on things. And you don't have to wait until, the 1st of January every year to make a resolution. You can make your resolution at sunrise every day and make the opportunity to change. Kerry, if you'd like to join us on Zoom, and come in and have a chat, then you're more than welcome to do so. But he wants you to remember the importance of every day is a learning day. Every day is a day for a chrysalis moment. Kerry says he was on chemo and he was sick and he was heartbroken that he was going to pass. Bless you. He is liberated. Of course, we know that. But he still misses the physical, which is why his message is about taking advantage of every moment of every sunrise, never forgetting that there's always an opportunity for growth and development and learning and change and upliftment and joy. And he wants to remind you that your mission is to live every moment and take advantage of every moment, to not be in fear of the past, not to be dazzled by the future, which ends up meaning that we miss the moment. He wants you to live every moment. No, that's fine, Kerry. You don't have to. See, he's such a fair guy, such a wonderfully balanced guy, that he would have been the kind of person that did make use of the moments. And so that would, of course, be missed. But he's certainly enjoying the opportunity to keep an eye over your shoulder every possible moment. And so therefore, he wants to remind you that living in the moment is essential. And that, thank you. Yes. As beautiful as the sunrise is, as well as the sunset, the shadows are long, and it can always seem a little bit darker than it actually is. But the more you step out in each moment, Kerry, the shorter the shadows become. But you have to be out there in the light to do that. The symbology and the importance, I know you've said about the sunrise being really, really important. It is so essential. And you know, we learn from the people we meet, and I've learned a lot from your dad. When we work with people, although we forget the information, I think when we meet someone that really resonates with us and has a really important message, we do take a piece of that message with us in our own growth and development. And so I have really enjoyed working with this gentleman. And you've said that you've been waiting for him to come through. Well, wait no more, because he's here. He is stand up tall. And although at the beginning of the day his shadow casts long, it shortens the closer he gets to the height of light. And he is doing so and progressing through the various different mansions of experience in the spirit world. But he's always got a direct line to you and keeping an eye on you. And thank you. It's all gone now, of course. None of the physical matters. It's all about the moments. He was my best friend, and this in more than words can express. I get that, because as well as the chest pain, it's about not just about pain. It's not just about heartbreak. It's also about excitement and joy. And so when he draws close and you feel this here building up, it's not about pain, it's about excitement, because that's how he wants to end. The pains may stay in the same place, but they're for different reasons. And this reason is the excitement and joy and just wanting to explode and burst forth with love and light and upliftment for you. And so do take his absolutely enduring love, and let the sun shine again on a new day, because he'll be watching and waiting and making sure you live each moment to the very, very best you can. God bless, Kerry.
Wow, do you know what, Nick? I could feel that emotion from Kerry's dad, and I know how much that would mean to Kerry. That was just amazing, absolutely wonderful. You know, when you're in that moment of that emotion, I was there with you, and that was really quite very moving, I have to say.
Absolutely.
Um,
In
have
actual
fun.
fact, I'm gonna whilst you talk, I'm just going to grab a piece. We're going to go for a commercial break. I'm just going to draw this horizon because it is absolutely stuck in my head, and I don't think it will go anywhere until I actually get it on paper. Yes, we're going to be back in a moment. We're going to take a break, aren't we?
We are, yeah. So we'll be back soon. So roll the adverts, Richard.
Help Spiritual Psychics TV grow our TikTok channel. Connect with us at sptv UK. We're on a journey to reach our next milestone, and we need your help. Follow us today and support us going live. Imagine getting personalised readings, discovering your card of the day, and so much more. Don't miss out on the opportunity to explore new adventures with us. Follow, engage, and transform. Join our growing community at Spiritual Psychics TV with @SPTV UK on TikTok.
Introducing the SPTV app, your digital spiritual guide for an enlightening journey like no other. Immerse yourself in a world of audio and visual content crafted to inspire, educate, and entertain. Seek guidance with our card of the day, choosing up to 6 cards for personal insights. Enhance your daily life with our wellness section, featuring nutritious recipes, affirmations, and balanced living tips. Explore our spiritualism section for a deep understanding of the religion, its principles, and spiritual answers. Unravel the secrets of the clairs and broaden your spiritual horizon. Easily find local readers, therapists, centers, or churches with our comprehensive directory. Stay connected with live broadcasts, check our schedule, and get to know our insightful presenters. Delve into the meanings of angel numbers, crystals, and a comprehensive list of divination meanings. All of this and more, available for free on the SPTV app. Download now at sptv.uk/app and start your journey with your digital spiritual guide.
Join Minty May live tonight from 8 p.m, offering tarot and mediumship readings to our viewers.
Tune in tomorrow from 6 p.m. UK time for SPTV's community show, hosted by Stace Shaw and guests. Join in for engaging topics, readings, workshops, latest gossip, and more, all designed for viewer participation.
Are you looking for some spiritual love or relationship guidance? If so, then join Jennifer Rose tomorrow from 8 p.m.
Hello, no puff for me.
And we're back.
We're no, you're fine. Kerry, whilst the break was on, I was just doing a little bit of a squiggle, and this is this is what I could see as the light shining behind it. I don't know if that is any kind of similarity to the view, but that's a very, very quick sketch. So it kind of feels to me a little bit of a combination between a slightly built up urban area, but with greenery around and everything. So the light was pouring from behind that kind of skyline. And it's not very often I put pen to paper and squiggle, but it was just staying in my head. So I know how massively vital it was to you. And I'm so pleased to have been able to unite you with Dad. So God bless you, my love. And I hope that helps.
It goes to show how the spirit world listen. But maybe, Nick, you ought to get some colours, and maybe that keep them handy when you're doing your messages, because you never know. You might draw part of the message.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so Helen's just said, wow, Nick, amazing. So there you go. Okay, so now it's my turn. Okay, I'm aware of a lady. I've been aware of a lady that's with me, and I know that she had awful issues with her legs. I feel that they swelled up. And Kerry's just said, my dad lived up in the mountains in Spain, so yes, I can understand this. It just keeps getting better, doesn't it? Absolutely amazing. So I have a lady with me, and I know she suffered with her veins. I feel it's varicose veins, and I feel that there's swelling in her legs, and I feel that she'd come in from doing the shopping or being out, and she'd sit in the chair and go, "Oh, I just need to sit down and have a cup of tea." I know that that was really important to her, because when I just took a sip out of my cup, she went, "Oh yes, you can't beat her." So I know that tea was very sort of a big part of this lady's life. I also know, and I feel that she's mum or mum-in-law, because she reminds me very much of my mother-in-law. She did not like being ill at all, and I feel that she sort of like didn't like to talk about illness, because she would be very embarrassed about any form of illness. But she did share with her daughter or daughter-in-law. So I know she said she shared little bits of information, but you had to sort of fill in the gaps with her sometimes, because she was, she just dropped little snippets about her health. She's making me laugh, because I do feel she loved to know the ins and outs of everybody else's life. But she, right, varicose veins. So Rebecca can understand this. Okay. So if you listen, Rebecca, if anybody else can understand it, but I just feel that she loved to know all what was going on. And I do feel that she would have loved magazine shows like this. So I don't know if she watched something like, This Morning, or chat shows or things like that. So I feel she liked all the gossip. She's also making me aware that I just feel this lady had lots of issues, health issues, because she's making me aware of her chest and also with her hands. But she kept going. She kept going. Right, okay. Would you understand if I am with you, Rebecca? Would you understand that there's something going on within the family at the moment that mum's sort of a little bit, she's come in to sort of add her say to. So I feel she wants to sort of pour oil on troubled waters here, because I feel since she's passed to the spirit world, there's been some disharmony within the family. So Tonya, you can understand this. Okay. So we've got Rebecca and Tonya, but I just feel that mum would have tried to sort of sort out family issues that really upset her when things in her own family were not harmonious. I also feel that she loved the TV, because she's taking my mind now to popular soap operas on the TV like Corrie and Emmerdale. I just feel that she did love the telly, and she just sort of is making me aware that she would have sort of highlighted the schedule of what she was going to watch in the TV Times or something like that. So you can understand this as well, Rebecca. What about Tonya? Are you still with me about this? Because I feel if I've still got the two of you. Okay, let me just see what else she wants to say. I know it's a common name, but I'm hearing the name of Peter. And so it sounds like your mother-in-law. Okay. I'm hearing the name of Peter, and I feel that she's met up with quite a few people in the spirit world, and I feel there's a Peter in spirit as well. That I feel that there's a Peter in spirit. Okay, and she loved the soap operas. All right, let me just ask her for something else so I can sort out who I feel that I'm connected to. Would you understand where she had quite a sweet tooth as well? Because I feel that she's sucking sweets, and I feel that she coughed sweets in particular, cough sweets, and I feel that they sort of became a little bit addictive with her. Oh, it's for my cough. Oh, it's for my cough. But it's just that she did love the sweet, and I'm getting like and you know a Peter, okay. And I'm getting like not the opal fruits, I can't think what the cough sweets are, but it's like the cherry one and the blackcurrant one as well. And I feel she sort of got a little bit addicted to them because there was something sweet in her mouth. Would you also understand you taking me here? I feel there's something to do with somebody would have worked on a market, because she's showing me a market stall. And I also feel that she must have had something with her legs. I feel that they got a little bit ulcerated because, and I just feel that they got a bit ulcerated because I feel the nurses had to come in to change her bandages, which she absolutely hated. Right, okay, okay. And I just feel she didn't like the nurses coming in to sort out her dressings on her legs, because I feel that restricted her, so she couldn't get out when she had the ulcerated legs. Because I feel that, and this is where she started to go downhill, because she said there was one particular ulcer on her legs that just would not go, and it was quite deep. And I do feel it gave her a lot of pain as well. And that's where she had to stop going. She sort of had to be in more, which she hated being indoors. She felt claustrophobic. And also I feel it put a lot of pressure on you to come in more, because she needed more help at this time. And I just feel that this makes sense to you. I feel more drawn to Tonya, if I'm honest. I do feel more drawn to Tonya. But still listen, Rebecca. But I do feel more drawn to Tonya. Okay. I'm also being made aware that she was very emotional. She's very emotional as well, and I feel that she wants to say sorry for lashing out. So I feel that there was a lot of frustration and a lot of upset before she passed to the spirit world, and she's come in to say that she's sorry. And I just feel that she just wants to connect with you. And I also feel, would you understand? Again, there was so many health issues with this poor lady, because I feel that she's got an issue with her eyes as well, because I feel like I'm squinting. So I feel that she had issues with her eyes, but she's trying to help with this family situation. And I feel that she wants to get some people together and she wants to sit them around the table. And I feel that there's some talking needs to be done. That you need to put the stubbornness aside. And I feel there's a gentleman here that is extremely stubborn, because she's showing me this gentleman with his arms folded, and it's like he doesn't want to engage on sort of trying to sort this issue out. And he needs to listen. She's saying he was stubborn as a child, and he's even more stubborn now. So, okay, so you can also understand, but can you understand, Rebecca, the issue with the gentleman as well? Because this gentleman is extremely stubborn and he's not listening to anybody. So I feel that people have been trying to reach out to him, and I also feel that there's something financial too that's going on with the family. So Tonya, I'm going to stick with you because I do feel drawn to you. But I just feel, I did feel that it was, and he's not listening, and he just keeps pushing and pushing, and he just needs to. And I feel that if she was here, she would sort him out, because I think she was the only one that could when she was here. He would listen to her, so she wants him to listen to her now, because he's got to talk. He's got to he's keeping things very close to his chest, and I feel to do with financial issues, and he needs to share, and he needs to take the load off, because I feel it's causing him some health issues as well. He's getting a little bit upset and a little bit down, and I feel that he's suffering with a little bit of headaches because there's pressure to do with this situation. And she's saying, I'm here for both of you. I'm here for both of you, because I do feel that she wants to reach out and send love to you, Tonya. She's talking about something about an olive branch. So would you understand where she wants to put the olive branch to you? She's giving you an olive branch. So I feel she wants to try and, sort things out here. This is what she's talking about. So please take her love, and thank you for working with her.
Bless you.
My pleasure.
Don't go. Lovely. Wow.
I need a drink.
Yeah, it really is one of those days, isn't it?
It
The,
is.
the way they're coming through. Tonya says, yes, she was the only one that he'd listened to.
Well,
Oh,
that's why he's come through to you, you see.
bless you.
You know,
Bless
they
you.
do. It's amazing how much notice they take up there with what's going on down here, you know.
Yeah, fine details sometimes. I've been building up a link with I really feel like I've got two people coming through. One is kind of taking the lead, but the other is there for, you know, to prove a point, I think is the best way to describe it. I've got this relatively young guy coming through, but he's also got a young girl with him. I'm feeling. I want to say either a daughter, a sister, or niece of his. There feels that kind of role of responsibility combined with, you know, being a bit more relaxed, a bit more fun, really, really, you know, a really tight but friendly, uplifting, joyful, loving relationship. You know, so either a really, really favorite uncle or a big brother, but could be that this is his daughter. She's not of a great age. He, once again, not of a massive age, but showing himself rather young. I do feel that you know he's a bit of a joker actually, because he's taking the mick out of my hair, as if to say he would have had short hair, but he wouldn't have had it so thin on top. Because as I rub my hands through or over my head now rather than through my hair, he's joking and saying, at least you ain't got to worry about the hairstyle messing up while you're working now. So I do know he's very uplifting, very, very jolly, very, very fun, a little bit of a kidder and a wind-up merchant, but also a really, really gentle and really well-rounded soul. We were talking about people's appearances, meaning that they weren't always particularly understood because people draw assumptions about appearances. He felt that very much resonated with him. It's really, really strange though, because I'm for him it's also almost like I'm seeing flashes of memories as well. And I can see like uh, I can see like a one of those ceilings where the tiles are the lights as well, rolling past like I'm being wheeled around a hospital or something like that. But I'm also aware that I have this very final glimpse of a lady staring at me as well, as if to say, I held on, I held on, I held on. So I do feel that he passed reasonably quickly under the circumstances, but it's like he held on and waited to see this face. And once he knew that they had been able to say goodbye, he was kind of, okay, I can go now. So I know family meant the world to him, still does, of course. But this young guy, I would say probably, you know, 20s to 30s maximum. Rather handsome, dashing young chap, I have to say, very good looking. Thought the absolute world of this young girl that he brings forward with him. If anyone can understand this, please do let me know. Because he's quite insistent. He's persistent, he's stubborn. Oh yes, thank you, of course. And because of that, he's reminding me of the stuff that he's been telling me that I'd forgotten. Like, for instance, the name Sarah is important. I'm also hello, new subscriber, welcome, Priscilla. He's also he was a lot more thoughtful and deep than people gave him credit for. He keeps having me go off and staring. It's kind of I don't know if anyone's ever watched House, but the way House like suddenly hears that one thing he needs to hear and then suddenly goes, ah, and it's that light bulb moment. He would have a lot of moments like that. So he was very, very clever, very, very adept, very, very wise beyond his years, but also was able to put two and two together frequently and come up with the right number. So a very, very clever, clever guy. He's not giving me any, in actual fact, quite the opposite. I've got the impression that it might have been some kind of accident that took him, and I feel really, really kind of spaced out, chilled, because I think it could even have been he was on morphine, because I just feel so it didn't hurt. It did, and I think that's really important. It didn't hurt. I didn't feel anything, but I was very much aware of flashes of being where I was. But once I knew everyone was okay, I felt okay to let go. And so I do hope that someone watching is able to understand that, because he cared more about other people than he did himself. Is the way I feel about this young man. And I think I did mention the name Sarah. There's also the name James as well. If anyone can understand it, please let me know. Otherwise, I am going to wind up and move on. Maybe somebody watching later will recognize it. Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So Richard's didn't hear everything. So I'm just going to. So he was calling out the name Sarah. I'm also aware of the name James. Um, this is a relatively young guy, misunderstood by a lot of people, seen as just your average Joe, but he cared about people. I know that there was an accident. I'm seeing flashes of a roof passing by as I'm laying down. So it's like he would have been moved around on a gurney, maybe in an emergency. I feel kind of spaced out, as though I'm on some kind of morphine or something for the pain. And almost the last thing that I see is this face that I recognize of a lady that I've been waiting to see, and because I've been wanting them to be there, so that either they can say goodbye or make sure that everyone else is all right, and pretty much seeing this person is the last thing that he saw. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, right. 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 Okay. Well, that's quite a bit, Richard. Because that's kind of it's the visuals with him. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Be wise. Sorry, dear.
Right, hi everybody. Richard here. Have you all okay? I've just been saying to Nick and Karen that I can take this part of this message. My news, my cousin who passed away. His daughter is Sarah. His middle name is James. Obviously, my name is James, and he had multiple neuron disease, so he was laying down all the time. The woman over his face would be his wife, who would come over. We then put him into a bed that he could move up and down, because he literally cannot move, before he passed. So that's what I can take from what you said.
Right. Thank you. The bit about the accidental passing. would have been my assumption based on seeing these ceilings and constantly being.
No, you're right with the accidental
Oh,
parting,
well,
because
it was
he went
right.
in for an operation which had nothing to do with that. The hospital did something wrong, caused the damage, and then he passed after a few months after that.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. The reason he's bringing forward the Sarah and the girl is because it's that absolute unconditional love. And although I did say dad initially, I also said I felt more like a favorite brother or an uncle, because there was this distance and separation, which obviously, if his health wasn't the best, he wouldn't have necessarily been able to have been what you would call a traditional dad.
It was a stepdaughter.
Even more so then. But it was the absolute unconditional love that really, really mattered. It's he carries an image of her with him everywhere, because although I felt like I'd got two people, the image of the young girl remained absolutely silent, so it must be memory. So he carries her everywhere he goes in memory, because you would understand that she did learn a lot about life from him. Obviously, with such a hugely, difficult condition, she would have understood a lot more about life than she probably should have done. But he gave her more than that. He taught her more than that by his attitude and behavior and his strength. Because what I do know is that this guy is absolutely powerful in attitude. And that has translated over into the life that he is living now. He's got a lot to say for himself, and I don't know whether he's just making up for lost time or whether he always was a bit of a put you in your place. That there was, family tradition, Richard, would probably dictate that he was very, very good at sharing his opinion as eloquently as possible and making sure people knew where they stood. You would understand that, though, yeah?
I would, yes.
Yeah, and because what the reason he has come through is because it's kind of like okay, payback. Time for payback, he says. And it's almost as though he wants to, return I know you said about sorting out the bed and everything. I think there's more to it than that. It's about payback for you. And okay. He keeps talking about payback and about returning the favor. So the reason he wants to talk to you today is about this example in his attitude and behaviors that he set. And it's almost like he wants to be more of an influence on you in that kind of respect. Remember that no matter how I keep looking at this picture that I drew earlier, and he says, no matter how dark the horizon is, it always means it's because there's sunlight behind it. That kind of attitude. And so considering his experiences on the earth plane, he's absolutely an upbeat character who would always find a way of smiling, or at least letting people know the unity and community and compassion of an unconditional nature is absolutely vital. And he doesn't want you to fight. He wants you to just stand. It's almost like fighting is irrelevant. Standing is what matters. And the more you build a community, the more you have people around you, the less it is about fighting and the more it is about sharing and moving forward. It's almost like change your tack, Richard. I hope you can understand that. I am going to wind it up now because he's starting to step away. But although I've still got that really, really spaced out feeling in me, that almost numbness, Tell her I felt her hand. Tell her I felt her hand. And it's almost like that there's a sensation on my face as he said that. So I don't know whether she touched his face or can you hear me? Can you feel me? But tell her I felt her hand. And I hope that can make sense to you, Richard. And I'll say God bless you and thank you.
I will pass that on to her. I'll text her and tell her what you said.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll tell her to watch the message because I think that's more for her than for me. I'm just a messenger, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's her birthday as well, actually, next month.
Oh.
In a couple of weeks' time, I think. Don't quote me on that.
That's nice. That's nice. Oh, dear.
Thank you very much, Nick.
You're very welcome, sir.
The emotion today, Mr. Brown, I have to say, is quite amazing from your
It's
little
amazing
corner.
what you can do. It clears up the signal when you've got nothing in the way.
I think is it the new hair?
Now you know why the Buddhists do it.
Well, yes. So yeah.
I know,
Oh,
but
right.
don't spoil it. Don't spoil a really, really good joke by being all factual.
Trust our Richard to put it into perspective.
Absolutely. You know, remember, don't fight, gather. Don't fight, gather. Whether that's for you or his partner, I think we can all. Do you know what? I think we can all take a lesson from that statement. This guy was amazing to work with, and really, really, in spite of everything, joyful of life. And if we can take that as a message for ourselves, absolutely we must.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
If I may tell this story quickly, so that full of life there, he was. Lucky enough, before he passed, I managed to film him singing. It was an Elvis Presley tribute act.
Oh,
and
right.
his favorite, well, he wasn't a full-time one. He would do it if people asked. And his favorite song was The Wonder of You. And we have a video of him, and you could close your eyes, no backing track, and he sounded exactly like Elvis.
Wow.
So, and he kept telling people about having a joy of life, embracing it. And when he realized he was dying, he hasn't got long to live, he organized a huge party for all his family, his friends, and everybody was there. And he was in his wheelchair, and everybody sat behind him and took a photograph of him. And it turned into a very emotional evening. Everybody's hugging and crying because we knew we didn't have long with him. But as he said, embrace what you got left. And he did. You know, he was laughing and giggling right to the very end.
Wow.
So, yeah.
What an inspirational man.
Yes.
Yeah, he was. But no matter what we go on, what we do in our lives, we've got to realize that we only have one life. We only have one body. It's different when we get to the spirit world. So enjoy it, embrace life, meet new friends, have new experiences, embrace these emotions, because once they're gone, you're never going to get it back again.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Very true. Ooh,
You know,
well, I have a lady.
Go on.
Go on, Nick. No, you carry on.
No, I was just gonna say, you know what? It's a really, really important thing because not only do we grieve the loss of the physical, so do they their own. You know, and that's really important to remember. But I just wanted to share that. So thank you for letting me carry on.
Okay, I have a lady here, and again, I feel really emotional with her. It's an emotional morning today. This lady I know had dementia, and she showed me herself sitting in her room that she was in a lot, like I'm not sure if it's lounge or dining room, but what she is looking at is her garden, and this garden's beautiful. It's got lots of beautiful roses in the garden, all sorts of colours, dahlias, chrysanthemums, you name the flower, this flower's in that garden. And she's saying that, you know, when she would sort of have times where she would just sort of go off, she would be a little bit vacant, but she would always look at the garden. And I just feel the garden kept her going. And I do feel there were times in her development with the dementia as it got worse, where tears would she'd cry because she couldn't express, and she knew that she was going. But there were times when she sort of had her lucid moments, but she knew that she was going. And I just feel towards the end of her life, she was silent. The dementia took everything away, and she didn't know that she was just silent. But I just feel it was the garden that she would always look at. And I know that she was greatly loved by her family. And I feel that there was two daughters that were very close to her, and would go and visit her, because I do feel that she ended up going into a care home. And this broke the family's heart, but I just feel that she got so bad that she had to go into a care home. So would anybody understand this lady? I feel that her hair was really important to her. We're back to the hair again, because I feel that even when she was struggling, it was like, I feel that she would touch her hair or just try to make sure that her hair was right. And I feel that her daughters would make sure that somebody would come to the house to do her hair, because I feel that she was always known for having not a hair out of place, or her hair being, it's, always looking absolutely wonderful. When she was well, she was very elegant. She spoke very well. And she was just a very caring mum, I want to say. I feel that she was a very caring mum. And I feel that her family meant everything to her. And I feel that she would have put things in place as well, for the inevitable end, as she's calling it. She would have made sure that everything was sorted. I feel it became like so Helen, you can understand that, but I gave up work and kept her at home, and she had lovely hair. Okay, so is there anybody else on here that mum would have gone into a home? Because I do feel there was a care home scenario, but still, listen, Helen. I feel here that she was determined. She was one of these ladies that when she knew that she was going to decline, she wanted to put things in place to do with her funeral, to do with her bits and pieces. And I just feel that she needed to get this sorted. And I know everybody kept saying, "Oh, you don't need to do it yet. You don't need to do it yet," but she did, because she didn't want anybody to do it for her. And she's making me aware that that she must have written letters or put things in envelopes with messages of love for members of the family. And I feel that she actually gave jewelry to people before she passed. So I feel that she's taking off rings and giving them to people. So does this make sense to any? I know Helen's already said that she can understand some of this, but is this making sense to anybody? And it was like I've got to do this, I've got to do this. She was so determined to get things in order before she passed. Hello, Angela, lovely to have you with us. I just feel that so it sounds like an aunt, although only one daughter, and myself that cared for her. But would you understand, Nicola, that she was like a daughter? You were like a daughter to her. Because I just feel that, and can you understand the care home, and can you understand these things going into envelopes? Right, and she had paid, right, okay. This is sounding, all right, Nicola, let me work with you, because I just feel that she just wanted to make sure that everything was okay. But I just feel that jewelry was given to people before she passed. I feel she's making me aware that she would have actually tried to help herself as well. So I feel that there must have been some sort of dementia club, or she tried to do things before she started to write. Okay, well, her paperwork was in envelopes and all labelled, fabulous. Because I know there's envelopes, and I know that this stuff went in them. And I just feel that she was a very, very organised lady in her early life before she wasn't well. And I feel that and I just feel that Okay, so you took over with her care. We all have her jewelry. Fabulous. Okay, let me work with you, Nicola. This is feeling much uh, as if this is right. I just feel that when she was here, you know, she would have been so organised in things that she did. She would have already got birthday cards for the year. She would have already started looking around for Christmas presents. She was this sort of lady, and family was everything to her. And the sadness of, and I also feel that she looked after people as well. And I just feel the sadness of when she couldn't remember someone's birthday. I feel that's when people knew that something was happening because she'd forgotten to send out the cards, or she'd forgotten to do something for somebody's birthday, and she was heartbroken. And she started to forget where she put her purse or where she put her keys. And I just feel she actually took herself to the doctors because she had a feeling. So she had a lot of insight as well. This lady, she started to realise that something wasn't right within her own health. She said there's only so many times when you can go in the kitchen and say, what have I come in here for? And I do feel that she had to start writing things down. A lot of people put it down to age, you know, for a little bit of forgetfulness. But she knew when she forgot that birthday, that date, that something wasn't right. And so when she realised her diagnosis, that was it. She was in operation sort out mode. And she wanted to get everything sorted the way that she wanted because she didn't want the family wrangling over, you know, shall we play this song, or would she like this buffet or this coffin or whatever. I feel that okay, that's lovely, Nicola. Yes, she did. She started losing items and forgot about cooking. And she hated it. She's saying, you cannot believe the frustration that I suffered because I just couldn't live the life that I'd lived and the things that I'd done and to be there for my family. And I feel this is when the emotions started to rise. And I don't know if it was you or someone else that sort of hugged her and told her not to worry and said that they would help her and sort things out. And I feel she said she felt relief when she started to share actually how she was feeling. And that she said, you know, when you share a burden, it really helps. And she loved people coming in to see her because I feel she still loved to hear about what was going on. Not that I could always remember it. And I do feel that there was a time when maybe you came in and you'd gone down the shop or something and you walked back in and it was almost like she'd forgotten that you'd been there. And she said that the frustration was awful. And she's actually telling you that she's pleased when she went because she couldn't have coped anymore. It was a happy release for her. And she knows that it wasn't great for all of you. And I just feel that she just wants to say, I'm free, I'm okay. I'm organising all the family up here in the spirit world as I've always done. And I do feel that you are also organised like her, because I feel you've got that organised trait, and I feel it's something that you took from her, that you learnt from her. And she's laughing, but she's saying also, yes, it's great to be organised, but if one piece of advice or one thing that she could say, and we're back to that that sentence again, enjoy your life because you don't know what's around the corner. You don't know when things are going to happen. And you just said, yes, she always loved to see us and her great grandchildren because that's what always brought a smile to her face. And what she loved was the children just carried on. They didn't know how ill she was. They would come in with their pictures, they would come in with their books, and they would come in with their stories. And that's what she absolutely loved. And I feel they sort of try and climb up on her knee or climb up on the bed. But she was 94 and had a wonderful long life. Well, that's absolutely amazing, Nicola. But she's having an amazing life up there. But would you understand when she was before she got ill? I don't know if she's on an exercise bike or an actual bike, because I feel that a bike or an exercise bike was quite important to her. So I do feel that she did like to try and stay trim and fit and keep going. She said because she concentrated on her physical fitness, but she said you can't deal with this illness, this dementia when it gets you. But she did still try to keep subtle, and I feel that she might have done. Would you understand where she tried to do hand exercises or something to keep her moving when she got very bedridden? Because I just feel that she just wants to come with a lot of love for you, for all the family, and she just wants to say thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you did to me. I couldn't have survived as long as I did without you. So please take her love. Oh, good, you can understand the fight. Fabulous, fabulous. Just take her love. Oh, dear.
Wow, what an emotional day, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's hard to it's oh, and she had the hand
And she had the hand
exercise.
exercises, yeah.
Go, well done, Dole. It's hard to believe that the journey on which the show has been today, starting off with quite a jovial, snippet of me next to a photo of Harry Hill. And to then to find the emotional connections being so truly strong, and for me that is the wonder of spirit, and that ever evolving changing journey that we as mediums go on. It never stops changing. You never stop being a developing medium. There's never a moment where you get put in that chemical that freezes the page. We ain't photos, we're moving every single day, and the emotion is what proves it. It really, really is. So Karen, it's been an absolute pleasure to be back.
Yes, as always. When I work with you on SPTV, it's like I'm working with you in the same room. It's like we're in the same room together, which is wonderful. Yeah, we will one day. We will one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would be great to stand on a platform with you and work together. That'd be fabulous. I'd really enjoy that. And yeah, Nicola's just said she was my rock when my mum passed over. I had to stay strong for her. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. So, yes, we've had a fun, emotional, changing discussion sort of day today. And it's been absolutely amazing. So thank you all for being with us and sharing the journey. Thank you, Richard, for all your help behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
And it's been my pleasure to work with you again. It's been lovely to have you back with us, Nick.
Been great to be back. And of course, we must remind everyone that tonight there is the wonderfully uplifting Minty May at 8 p.m. Richard's going to go live in a little while at some point this afternoon on TikTok.
About 2 o'clock.
About 2 o'clock. So do join in for that. But it's been great to be back, and thank you all so much for the absolute compassion building this community. I'm going to have to write down the new subheading for SPTV because I love it, and it is a community. So thank you all for being with us too. We're going to go off and do whatever is next, and I know you will too. So from me, thank you all for being with us. Have a beautiful Easter week. And remember to keep on changing. The journey never stops.
Absolutely. Enjoy your journey every moment of every day, and have a wonderful Easter. And we will see you all again very soon. Lots of love, everybody, and eat well and take care.
God bless.